Hey everybody, I know that we had a couple parents that weren't able to make it today, so I just wanted to take a moment to kind of recap what we talked about. That way you won't be left out on any of the information. But the first thing I just want to talk about is what is FLL. And so FLL stands for First LEGO League. That is the overall organization that we're a part of now with this robotics club. And so that's a world-renowned organization. It's been set up to inspire up-and-coming engineers through competition. This organization is sponsored through companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, some of those big name companies, and the reason why they've done this is they're realizing that the gap between the older generation of engineers and the up-and-coming generation is very large, and they're getting concerned because they don't have the employee base that they used to. So they really want to encourage young students who maybe have never had an interest in engineering but really have an aptitude for it. And so they've given them this opportunity through competition. It's kind of a fun, interactive way that they can say, wow, robotics are fun. And maybe they will pursue a career, things of that nature. So there's a quick video that we're going to watch here that just kind of talks about what FLL, First LEGO League, really is.
First LEGO League is a fun, exciting, mentor-based experiential STEM program for kids ages 9 to 16. It's an alliance between FIRST, an international organization to inspire young people founded by Dean Kamen, and the LEGO Group. It's one in a progression of 4 FIRST programs designed to foster 21st century life skills and spark kids' interest in science, technology, engineering, and math, so they become innovative problem solvers able to tackle the world's biggest challenges. Each year, First LEGO League teams are presented with a real-world theme, like transportation or waste management. Over a minimum 8-week season, they select and research a problem based on the topic, then devise innovative ways to help solve that problem. Teams also build and program a LEGO Mindstorms robot to solve a series of robot game missions, all while practicing the signature core values, which emphasize good sportsmanship and having fun. If you'd like to get involved with First LEGO League in your area, visit us online.
All right, so moving on. If you want to follow along with me, there is a handout that you can print off directly below where I'm speaking, and you can click on that. You can print that off, pull it up, and just read it off of the website if you'd like. That way you can just kind of follow along with me. But the next question on here is, why has my child been selected? And the answer to that question is that your child's been selected for the team because they've shown an interest and an aptitude in the area of robotics and engineering. Now, an interest in robotics and engineering can come along in many different forms. So maybe they've never actually said, hey, I want to be an engineer, but they might have a skill set or an interest in some of the peripheral areas around these concepts. And so that's something that we've identified. Me and Rachel Stolson took the summer and we went to a training at SMU where we learned a lot about all this stuff, and we sat down and we wrote down 6 names of students who had been here last year, students who we really felt stood out from a lot of the rest, just as leaders, as character-driven individuals who have an aptitude in these areas. And so the 6 students that we've selected, we'll talk about them specifically and the roles that they're going to fulfill in just a moment, but each of them are going to fulfill a certain role that we feel they are the best person to fulfill in the entire school. And so as we move into this year, and we move into this season of First LEGO League, there is a theme, as we talked about in the video that we watched just a couple of seconds ago. There's a theme each year, and the theme this year is hydrodynamics. And so that's not just water itself, but the way that humans utilize water. So what we're going to be doing with that is learning how the water cycle works and some of the problems that we as humans cause in that water cycle. So we're going to watch another video here real quick that talks about this year's challenge, and you might have more questions after we watch it. I'm going to do my best to answer all of those. So let's watch that video real quick.
On your mark, get set, flow, and welcome to the First LEGO League season of hydrodynamics. Have you ever wondered how you get the water you use in your daily life? Whether it's to brush your teeth, quench your thirst, cook your food, or even take a swim, all of us need water. Does it come from the ground, a river, or a lake? How do you make sure it's safe to drink? And what happens when it goes down a drain? In this season's Hydrodynamics robot game, you'll explore these questions and many more, and you'll get to learn about the amazing engineering used to protect your most precious liquid asset, water. There are 3 steps you should take before you get started. Read the robot game rules in the challenge guide, identify 1 or more missions to solve, design a robot using LEGO Mindstorm's technology that can solve the missions. Remember to keep the core values in mind and work together. You and your team members have many hidden talents and skills. Now let's take a tour of the Hydrodynamics missions. Don't worry if you don't have time to do them all. Pick the ones that are the most fun and interesting to you and your team. Move the broken pipe so it is completely in base. Move a big water, 1 time maximum, to the other team's field, only by turning the pump system's valves. Move the pump addition so it has contact with the mat and that contact is completely in the pump addition target. Make at least 1 rain come out of the rain cloud. Move the filter north until the lock latch drops. Make the water treatment model eject its big water, only by moving the toilet's lever. Make the fountain's middle layer rise some obvious height and stay there, due only to a big water in the gray tub. Flip manhole covers over, obviously past vertical, without them ever reaching base. For bonus, score 30 manhole cover points as described previously, with both covers completely in separate tripod targets. Move the inspection camera tripod so it is, for partial score, partly in either tripod target, with all of its feet touching the mat. For full score, completely in either tripod target, with all of its feet touching the mat. Install the optional loop first, in base, if you wish. Move a new pipe so it is where the broken one started, in full, flat contact with the mat. Install the optional loop first, in base, if you wish. Move a new pipe so it is, for partial score, partly in its target, in full flat contact with the mat. For full score, completely in its target, in full flat contact with the mat. Move the sludge so it is touching the visible wood of any of the 6 drawn garden boxes. Make the flower rise some obvious height and stay there, due only to a big water in the brown pot. For bonus, score flower points as described above with at least 1 rain in the purple part, touching nothing but the flower model. Move the water well so it has contact with the mat and that contact is, for partial score, partly in the water well target, for full score, completely in the water well target. Make the fire drop only by making the fire truck apply direct force to the house's lever. Move or catch big water and/or rainwater, 1 rain maximum, no dirty water, so it is touching the mat in the water target, without the target ever reaching the white off-limits line. Water may be touching the target and/or other water, but not be touching nor guided by anything else. Each water model is scored as an individual. For bonus, score at least 1 big water in its target as described previously, with 1 on top, which is touching nothing but other water. Maximum only 1 bonus can score. Move the slingshot so it is completely in its target. For bonus, score slingshot points as described previously, with the dirty water and a rain completely in the slingshot target. Make the water level obviously more blue than white as seen from above the cup, only by turning the faucet handle. Penalties. Before the match starts, the referee removes the 6 red penalty discs from the field and holds on to them. If you interrupt the robot, the referee places one of the removed samples in the white triangle in the southeast as a permanent, untouchable interruption penalty. You can get up to 6 such penalties. The robot game missions can provide real-world examples for your project research. Learn about the stories behind the missions in the challenge guide, found at www.firstlegoleague.org. Good luck and have fun this season.
Okay, so as you saw in that video, the goal of this competition, and this competition is going to probably be taking place toward the end of this year. I say probably because we're still trying to get some of those details worked out. This is our first year, and so I'm still trying to figure out all of the chains of communication that we need to pursue in order to get the accurate information. So when that competition comes about, there's going to be a table set up with all of the different goals and obstacles and things that you saw in that video. And what the goal of the robotics team is to do is to build a robot that can maneuver through those obstacles and accomplish those goals. You saw that there were a lot of different things, very specific criteria for all those goals. Some of them were pretty easy, some of them were more difficult, and you probably noticed that the point system was higher and lower based on difficulty. So, for a visual, I have a robot that our robotics team created. This was created in our hour of power, and I'll explain what that means in just a moment. But this robot was created by this team, and this is basically what they're going to be using to navigate through that board. They're going to be able to put extensions on this, make arms raise up and down, push things over, whatever they need to do to accomplish the goal. There's some rules on how they can do it, or well, I guess what they do, I should say, and the way that it's accomplished, but it's very free. This is really a competition where the students' creativity and ingenuity and engineering abilities, they're really going to shine, and they're really allowed to think outside of the box, again, certain parameters, but it's very free in how they accomplish the goals. So, I mentioned a second ago that this was created in the hour of power. There's been some confusion as to what the hour of power is, as opposed to the robotics team, which is what we're talking about here. The hour of power is an opportunity for all 5th and 6th grade students to come to me. Their teachers send them to me for an hour on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we discuss robotics, we talk about different things like that. That was the group that made the robot that I was showing you just a second ago. But the robotics team, the robotics club, which is what we're talking about here today, is a pre-selected group of students who have a goal to get to that competition. And so those 6 students who we're going to discuss in just a moment are the ones who we will take to the qualifying rounds. That's our goal in the near future. So I just wanted to make sure there was a clear distinction between what the hour of power is and what the robotics club is and what your student is involved in now. They'll still be involved in the hour of power. During that time, they will actually work on this project as the other students work on some other things. So I just wanted to make sure there's clarity with that. So all the information that we're discussing here, you can find on a website that I created. It's an extension of my personal website. That information is listed below. Clearly, if you are watching this video, I've already sent you a link to a portion of it, and you'll see some tabs above the video that you're watching right now. The first tab is just listed First Lego League. That has all the videos that you're watching in this video. And anything that I need to add later, any questions that might be asked, frequently asked questions, things like that, we might add. That way you can just understand what is my child a part of here. So the next tab says Meet the Team. And so this is going to be listing the 6 students who have been pre-selected and the roles and the positions that they're going to be fulfilling. Let's talk about that just a little bit here. I just wanted to say for security purposes that this page is not accessible to anybody but those who have the link, and so I made sure that was on there. So any information on here, no one else can see but the parents who I've sent this link to. The first person on the list here, if you've pulled up that tab, or if you do later, Luke Maxwell. He's going to be serving as our team captain. So Luke is a student who I've known for all of last year, and he really has great leadership abilities. And so we feel like he's going to be somebody who can kind of have his hands in every different area and really lead the team toward the goal of getting through this competition. So Quentin Christian is our chief programmer. He's done this before. He understands how the programming works with a program called Mindstorm, which is what we use for programming the robots. And so he's been working with us on the Hour of Power. I actually stepped away the last time whenever we talked about programming and let him more or less teach the class because he knew even more about Mindstorms than I do. So he really knows what he's doing. Grace Maxwell is very, very good at visualizing something and then making it happen. So she'll be serving as our chief builder. And the purpose of that is she's the one doing all the hardware. She's the one helping to make the robot, the actual part that you see. Quentin and Grace are going to work very close together because if your robot is not built right, you can't program it right. And if it's not programmed right, it doesn't matter how well it's built. So they'll work very closely together in order to accomplish the goal. Carlos is going to be our attachment specialist, and what that is the base of the robot is going to be what I showed you a couple minutes ago. It's just a simple robot that gets from point A to point B. The attachments are things that you can put onto it that can lift, they can push, they can move, they can do all these different things. And you probably saw in the video where we talked about hydrodynamics where they mentioned something called base. And what that base is it's a corner of the table where the students can actually have their robot come back to, and then they can change all those attachments. So Carlos's job is going to be to think through each of those assignments, each of those obstacles. How can we make this happen? How can we get this goal met? And what can I create as the attachment specialist to get there? Ianu is going to serve as our project lead. And I'm going to take a moment to show you one last quick video that will just explain what Ianu's job is going to be and how that relates to the overall team.
On your mark, get set, flow, and welcome to the first LEGO League season of Hydrodynamics. This season, you will join thousands of teams from around the world to learn all about water, how we find, transport, use, or dispose of it. People use water every day, but they don't think much about how and why they use water. Whether it's a direct need, drinking or washing, or indirect need, manufacturing the products they use or producing food or energy, humans have a lot of different water needs. Your project challenge for the hydrodynamic season is to improve the way people find, transport, use, or dispose of water. There are 3 steps you will need to have a successful project experience. Identify a problem within the human water cycle. Think about all the ways you use water. You probably use water in ways that seem too small, boring, or gross to even mention, like flushing the toilet. But all of these uses are a part of the human water cycle. In the Hydrodynamics Challenge, the human water cycle describes the ways people find, transport, use, and dispose of water in order to meet a specific need or desire. Choose a part of the human water cycle that interests you and identify a specific problem you want to solve. You may want to look at the robot game field for inspiration. Topic experts helped us design our challenge, and many real-world problems are represented in the missions of the robot game. It helps to pick a problem that means something to you and your team. Maybe it's a problem one of you knows a lot about. Find out about the current solutions that people are already using to try to solve your problem. Why does this problem still exist? Why aren't the current solutions good enough? What could be improved? Next, design a solution to your problem. Any solution is a good start. Your ultimate goal is to design an innovative solution that adds value to society by improving something that already exists, using something that exists in a new way, or inventing something totally new. Step 3 is to share your solution. Think about who your solution might help. Share your idea with at least one person. Present your solution to people who clean, store, transport, or use water. You can find out about the types of people in your community who solve water problems in the Hydrodynamics Challenge Guide. Finally, you and your team will want to prepare a presentation to share your work with the judges at a tournament. Your presentation must be live and may include posters, slideshows, models, multimedia clips, props, costumes, and more. Be creative, but make sure you introduce your problem, solution, and how you shared your idea in 5 minutes. Celebrate the work you have done and learn about what problems other teams chose and how they solved them. Learning together and celebrating what you discover is part of the fun of First LEGO League. Good luck, teams, and have a great season.
All right, so as you saw, the project is a very, very big part of the competition. So Ianu's going to be heading that up. I think she's going to do a great job. Hallie is going to serve as our lawyer and our field specialist. Now, there is a very, very in-depth rule book with First LEGO League. Now, these rules you may have seen in the video. They are things like if the part that you're moving toward the goal is on the line, then you get so many points. And that's what Hallie's going to know very, very well. The next tab is updates. And what's going to be in that tab will be anything that you need to know. So any updates that we might have of maybe a practice or a club on a Monday is going to be canceled, something like that. Maybe it's going to go a little bit longer because we need to work on something, maybe a little bit shorter. Maybe there will be a pickup at a different area. Just things like that that you need to know will be in this column. Obviously, there's nothing to update yet, but we will soon. The next page is this Stay in the Loop page. And what I want to do with this is there's a place for photos, there's a place for videos, and a place down here for comments. I'm going to be taking photos, videos, and things like that of the team as they work on this project. And as the project comes along, I want you guys to see that. I want the parents to be able to follow along. Even if they can't be here, I want them to really see what's happening in this group. At the very bottom is going to be a place for comments. And those comments will be anything that you want to ask or share or thoughts that you might have. I really encourage dialogue. That's the best way that we can grow as a team. Below that, there will be an option for printable documents. That was where I directed you earlier, where you were able to download what I'm talking about now, follow along with that, and different things like that. So if there's anything else that you need, maybe a permission slip or something like that, I will put that in the printable documents. That way you can access that. And the last tab is going to be the calendar. And I've just put together a simple calendar that lays out what's going on when. If you look at that, you'll see that on Tuesday the 10th, which was today, the day that we had our meeting, we had our robotics team parents meeting. That's on there. If you were to select that, then a window will pop up, and that will tell you things like where it's going to be, when it's going to be, any details that you might have. So I've gone ahead, and for the month of October, I've placed the Robotics Club each Monday from 3:15 to 4:15. That will give us an opportunity to work. We may see that an hour is too long, maybe it's not long enough, I don't know. We'll just have to see how that goes along. And I'll put in that comment box, whenever you click on that specific event, I'll put things like, you know, we're going to be picking up at this specific area, things like that. We'll also be using Remind 101 so that I can send things directly to your phones. You've probably used that with some of your other classes, but we went ahead and set it up. You can find the instructions for that. It should be on your screen here, but it should also be under the printable documents. You can print that off, and it gives you the option of downloading the app, or you can just have it sent directly like a text notification. So highly encourage you to set that up. That way we can kind of get an idea of who's going to be a part of this and that you know what's going on and can stay up to date. The last thing that I want to discuss here is just the investment, the overall investment that we're asking from the students and the parents. So we're asking for all parents to be ready and willing to serve in any area that will set this team up for success. Now that may come in the form of transportation, especially whenever we start getting closer to the competitions and things like that. We're going to need help with transportation. We don't want to rent a bus, things like that. For just 6 students, it's too expensive. So we will need help with transportation in those areas. Minor construction jobs, whenever we get our mat that has all the obstacles on it, we're going to need a wooden table built. We have some specs for that we've gotten from some of the other groups. We just need someone who has the skill to do that. And just other various responsibilities that might come about. I'll make sure that you are well notified of what we need and things of that nature. And then finally, we're asking that each student will provide $120 to help cover the cost of equipment. And so we can discuss maybe fundraisers or things like that in the future if we need to. But before we can move on, we will definitely need just verification that you're all in, you're ready for the investment. That check can be made out just to Newman, just like any other check that you've written and given to Brooke downstairs. And we'll just need all that accounted for before we can move forward. That way we can register and we can know who's going to be a part of the team and who we'll be working with this year. So you definitely have all of this information accessible to you. There's a place for contact information. You can contact myself. Rachel Stolson is kind of an informal, unofficial second in command. She may or may not be very involved, but we needed a second name on the roster, and she signed up. That way, if I'm ever not able to be here on a Monday, she'll step in, something like that. She's going to know what's going on. She just might not be as active as I will. And of course, the team website I highly encourage you to check out on a regular basis because we're going to be putting some information on there. I'll try to send stuff to you via email. That way you know whenever there's things on the website, and definitely through Remind as well. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me. You have my number. If you can't find it, my number is 469-834-7447. Again, 469-834-7447. And you can reach me at dpeterson@newmanacademy.org. And feel free to reach out and ask any questions that you might have. And we look forward to working with you and your students as we make this team a success. I really have high hopes for this group. I really believe that we're going to accomplish the goals that we set out to accomplish. And I'm excited to see what they're going to come up with. So, again, feel free to reach out to me. And I look forward to speaking with you all soon. Thank you.